What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a hoot and a holler, a classic story. You guys have been asking for more drug videos, so I'll deliver. In honor of 20K coming up real soon, I'll deliver. Today we're coming in with a story talking about the time that I got quote-unquote greened out, and I'll get into that in a minute for those of you who may not know what that term means. But before I dive into that, I do want to say a couple things. First off, drop a like on this video if you do enjoy. Second off, thank you guys so much for all the support recently. We've been going towards 20K very quickly. It's like originally, like at the beginning of last month, we were riding in like a Toyota Corolla and we were like going the speed limit towards 20K. And now it's like someone pulled up in some sort of fucking race car. Like I'm talking not a Ferrari, like a NASCAR tier vehicle, and said, hop in, Goblin. And we're whipping it to 20K right now. We're driving very quickly. So thank you guys so much for all the support. And also, I do want to share a very sad moment in my life. Yesterday, Jimmy John's $1 subs. I get in line, I get my sub, I pay $1. It was an incredible experience. Sitting in the booth with my friends, and I dropped it. I was about halfway through the sub, and I dropped it. And I don't think I've ever felt that pain in my whole life. It was horrible. Everyone saw me. Everyone saw me drop it, and I almost cried. But it's okay, because I still got to eat half the sub, and I got to eat like 50 cents worth of that dollar. So either way, hope you guys did enjoy this video, or do enjoy this video, and let's dive into it. So, greened out. Now, for those of you who, most of you probably know, but greened out basically means when you smoke too much weed and you don't feel good. And, I didn't get like super greened out. I've never gotten to the point where I'm like vomiting and I'm like sick, but I definitely wasn't feeling too hot. So on this particular day, this was a long time ago. This was like, I want to say a little over a year ago, because I remember it was my buddy Chris's birthday, which is in early April. And, Chris on his birthday, it's always a hoot and a holler. This guy always he just celebrates. He has quite the birthday celebration. So, I go over to his house and, everyone's already there. It's already hype. It's already hoot and holler. And his garage is the spot. Everyone's in the garage. I go there. Blunts are already lit. Music's already banging. I'm seeing like bottles out on the table and all that. Yeah, it's just wow. It's just a real moment. That's all I got to say about that one. So, I get there. I shake up with Chris. I shake up with all the other dudes in there. There's some dudes I'd never even seen in my life, but whatever. What's good? Just for celebration purposes. We all homies now. I've known y'all for years. Just forget I've never met you. So, I get over there, and I brought with a little bit of money. I brought with like $50 maybe, just enough to get a little bit of weed to throw in. And Chris's birthday presents from his family. His family, like, they all either smoke weed or like they're totally cool with him smoking. So like they'll just give him weed for his birthday. So his brother ended up throwing him an ounce on his birthday. And this was a very thrilling birthday gift. Let me tell you, I get over there because I remember I was on the phone with him as I was on my way over, and he's like, "You're going to want to get over here quick. Like, I got some good birthday presents." And I knew immediately what that meant. I was like, all right, okay, I know what's happening here. I already know. I already know what's about to go down. So, I go over there. I get over there, and, I'm talking to Chris, and he's like, come with me, come in my room. And his room was always like the business meeting area. It was always the discussion spot. Whenever we had something to plan or do, whether it be something as simple as like, what do we want from McDonald's, or something as deep as like, all right, how are we robbing this bank and getting away with it? The discussion occurred in this man's bedroom. So, I go into his room, and he always stores shit in his nightstand. This man opens his nightstand, whips out this fat bag. Like, it looked like over an ounce. His brother hooked it up fat on this shit. And he's like, look at this. He throws it to me. I whip it open. I smell it. It was some prime. His brother didn't give him the mids for his birthday. He said, here you go. Merry Christmas. I swear to God, this man just went to the grow op and just like harvested this by hand. Like, this was some fucking pack. I almost just started hooking up with the bag. Like, I kind of wanted to take that zip into a little private room and get funky, but I couldn't. I had to control myself. I couldn't do that. So I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, Chris, do you know what this means? And he's like, we're going stupid today. And that got me very excited. So we go back in the garage, and we brought the whole zip with. We didn't fucking care. And we originally didn't think we had any blunt wraps. Now, there was a guy who was also there, and we're going to call him Don. Now, Don works at the gas station that's just down the street. You know, he always works there overnight, and I see Don every now and then, like I knew him, kind of. And Don, for some reason, you know, maybe it was for this, maybe it was for whatever, pulls up, okay? And this man, he just had a fuck ton of random blunts on him. Like, he didn't have a complete box of one kind. This man opens up his bag, and he's got, like, just 20 different packs of Swishers. Like, just random fucking flavors. I don't know where he obtained these from. I don't know if he just, like, grabbed them at work, or if he, like, went out of his way to just buy a fuck ton of random blunts. But either way, he had them, and he was like, yeah, you know, I'll sell some to you guys. So I'm like, all right, how much? And he's like, 50 cents a pack. Now, I'm sitting here, I'm like, this man's beating retail right now. This man's finessing. This man is on it. So, of course, I throw him some money. I throw him like $5 and get like 10 packs, you know? I got a good bit. So, we have all these packs of Swishers. And, you know, for those of you guys who have watched a lot of my previous videos, you'll know that Chris is the rolling expert. You know, whenever I'm with him, I always let him roll. And that still applied today. We had a bunch of Swishers, and we wanted to roll up some weird shit. So we ended up rolling up what we call a finger, which is where you take two Swisher papers and you combine them like side by side, not an extendo, just side by side, so it's super wide, and you just stuff it. You just stuff that shit full of bud. And a lot of the times it'll be like so fat and like full of bud that we'll want to like put a filter in the end, just because like it's kind of hard not to get a little bit of bud in your mouth. But either way, it's something. So, you know, we roll that up, we smoke it. And after that, we just kept smoking regular blunts. Like, we didn't do any other crazy things after the finger. And in the finger, there was a good, like, 3 grams, I'd say. But we just kept rolling up regular blunts back to back. And we did it throughout the night, on and off. And it got to the point where I wasn't even really, like, getting higher anymore. You know, like, I was just kind of smoking to smoke at that point. And you know, of course, I threw down my 50. I decided not to pick up any extra. I just kind of threw it to Chris and said, like, here, you know, this is for the smoke up. And he was like, all right, we're getting fucked up. And I got what I paid for. Let me tell you, I'd say we smoked a good majority of that zip. But, you know, anyways, we're sitting there, we're smoking up. You know, it gets to the point where it's kind of late at night. Mostly everybody else had left. I stayed. You know, it was just, at this point, it was me, Chris, and, like, Chris's family, and Don was still there, but Don was like 20 something. So, you know, he didn't have to go to school the next day, because I'm pretty positive this was a school night, you know? So I stayed. Everyone else had dipped. It was like 9 or 10 p.m. at this point, and we just keep smoking. At this point, I was like, fuck it, I'm just spending the night at this man's house, whatever, you know, I'll figure out what to do later. So we're smoking up, and we keep rolling these regular blunts. At one point, we decided to go hotbox my car, and at this point, I was driving. What was I driving at this point? Oh, God, I've had so many different cars. I think I might have been driving I'm pretty sure, I know I was driving a Honda. I know that. This was before the Mazda, but after the house. And I borrowed my mom's car this night. I was driving the Honda CR-V, the little mom car. So, you know, anyways, I was, you know, we hopped in my car. We decided to go hotbox it a little bit. So we drove around. We found a spot. We smoked a couple blunts in the car. We just wanted to smoke like every which way possible. And, you know, at this point, I was kind of feeling a little off. Like, I wasn't feeling shitty or like sick, just a little off. So, you know, I get back to Chris's house, and we're sitting on his couch in his garage. And, you know, I started feeling like out of it, like really out of it. Like, I don't know why. I don't know what it was, but like, it had been at the point where for the past couple hours I'd been smoking and not feeling any difference, and all of a sudden I just wasn't even feeling okay. Like, I wasn't feeling good, you know, like I wasn't like vomiting, but I was just sitting there lightheaded as fuck, you know, not like my stomach hurt, but I like not in a vomit way, just like a, dear God, someone threw a frag grenade down my throat when I wasn't looking, because this is fucked, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm sitting there, and you know, Chris is asking me like, oh, you know, let's roll up another. You want to smoke some more? You want to drink? And he asked me if I wanted to drink way later into the night. And I was like, no, fuck no. You know, my stomach already hurt. I already knew how that would end. You know, that would be chaos. And all this man had was hard liquor. There was no beer. Like, I would have sipped on like 1 or 2 beers. Like, I wouldn't have gotten drunk, but I just would have drank 1 or 2 to like take a break from smoking. But you know, all this man had was like Bombay and like Henny and all that shit. And I was like, absolutely not. That's a no-go for me, cowboy. So, you know, we smoke another blunt. And I'm hitting it like a bitch. Like, at this point, I'm hitting it, and it's like it genuinely like hurts to hit. Like I'm just feeling shittier with every hit. So finally, we finish off this blunt. Now I took like we don't have like a policy on how many hits someone can take in the roto, unless it's like some random person. Like if it's all close homies, it's just smack it, don't be a whore about it. Don't be a bitch. Just smack it enough and then pass it. We're not like counting. We're not like staring them down when we're hitting the blunt. Like, all right, your time's up, bud. That was 3 hits. You better pass that shit right now. It's just kind of like, all right, smoke what you need and then pass it. But anyways, I was taking like 1 or 2 hits and then passing it back and hoping to God he would hit the shit out of it. And he didn't, he noticed that I was doing that. So he would take 1 or 2 hits and pass it back as well. So I was just like, fuck. So, at this point, I didn't like know if it was because of the weed. So I didn't want to tell him like, yeah, I don't want to hit this. And it was his birthday. So I felt obligated to smoke another one, even though we'd already smoked way too many. And after this blunt was done, I was like, shit, bro, I need to knock out. And he was like, well, yeah, you could sleep on the couch if you want. So I go into his living room. I lay down on the couch. He comes in like 10 minutes later, and he's sitting there. He's vaping or whatever, sitting on the like recliner watching TV. And I lay down. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to knock the fuck out. Like, fuck it. I'll feel better. I can't fall asleep for shit. I feel like straight dog shit. I feel like dookie. I feel like that one frag grenade that went down my stomach, there was like a Molotov cocktail that followed it. And like, I just felt horrible. So I'm laying there for a solid like 30 minutes, not feeling any better. And finally, I'm like, yeah, I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. He's like, all right. He didn't really know that I was like not feeling well. I mean, I think he could kind of tell, but I didn't tell him. I was just kind of like, whatever, it'll go away. Fuck it. So I go to this man's bathroom, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to fucking puke. Like, I'm going to vomit at this point. And I thought I was going to, and I like get down, in the preparatory position. Is that even a word? Preparatory? I don't fucking know. Probably not. But I prepare for the worst. I get down, head over the toilet bowl, ready to just projectile vomit my fucking livers out. Or my lungs out, excuse me. And, I'm sitting there, when like, you feel like you have to puke, but like you're doing that thing where you're like dry puking, dry heaving, I think it's called. I don't really know, where you're just like, ugh, but like nothing comes out. That's what I was doing. I was sitting there like doing that. And originally, like I tried to do it a couple of times on purpose to like try to make myself puke, but eventually it was just like, it was against my will. Like I was just sitting there, my throat was raping me at this point. I'm just kneeled over the toilet, just, I couldn't even like stop myself. So eventually after like maybe couple minutes of doing that, maybe like 2-3 minutes of doing that, I got up and I was like, all right, this is fucked. Like, maybe I just got to take the meanest shit of my life. So, I sit down. Of course I don't. Of course nothing happens. I'm sitting in there for maybe like 15, 20 fucking minutes. Like, I was in there for a while. Finally, I'm like, fuck it. I get out. I just walk out. I'm just like, fuck it, dude. This is fucked. I'll come out and you're like, you good, bro? And I'm like, not really, I'm not feeling so hot. And he's like, shit, bro, what's wrong? And I was like, I don't know, bro, I'm feeling kind of sick. I think I might have smoked too much. This is not a hoot or a holler. And he was like, damn, that's all that's all he said. He was just like, damn, dude. And he just goes back to fucking watching TV. And I'm like, shit. So I just lay down on this man's couch, and I wasn't really supposed to be out at this point. Like, I was supposed to be home, but I didn't really like care because I was more focused on how shitty I felt. And I was also like too baked to really think about that or be concerned. So, finally I kind of realized it. I'm like, oh shit, I should probably go home. So I tell him like, yo, I'm probably not going to spend the night here. I'm probably just going to hit the crib. I'm not feeling good. He's like, all right, peace out. And I was like, happy birthday once again, catch you later. Hit my line tomorrow. He's like, all right. I drive home. I don't know how the fuck I drove home, quite honestly. I felt like shit. Like I wasn't too intoxicated to drive. I was just high. I didn't drink. But, I felt like shit. And I hate driving when I'm sick. I fucking can't do it. I can't do it. I would rather like just be thrown in the trunk of a car and have someone drive me than fucking drive on my own when I'm sick, So I whip it back to my house, which is thankfully not that far, maybe like a 5-10 minute drive. And finally, I get back home. I go home and I lay in bed and I feel like shit. I still feel like shit. And eventually I knocked the fuck out. I don't know how I managed it, but I somehow knocked the fuck out. So either way, hope you guys did enjoy this video. Drop a like if you did, and if you have any similar experiences, let me know in the comment section below. Once again, thank you all so much for getting me so close to 20K. I'm hype. It's happening soon, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.